Hi, everyone. This is Cynthia Gwiazda, Community Services Librarian at Hagaman Library. So today I'm going to talk to you about our new September reads. We have several new books in that I'd like to talk to you about today that you can borrow in print form at the library. Some may also be available through Overdrive and through Hoopla, which is our streaming service. So you can check those out as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share these with you. September reads for new fiction. The first book is called Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. A young Latin tutor, penniless and bullied by a violent father, falls in love with an extraordinary, eccentric young woman. Agnes is a wild creature who walks her family's land with a falcon on her glove and is known throughout the countryside for her unusual gifts as a healer, understanding plants and potions better than she does people. Once she settles with her husband on Henley Street in Stratford-upon-Avon, she becomes a fiercely protective mother and a steadfast centrifugal force in the life of her young husband, whose career on the London stage is taking off when his beloved young son succumbs to sudden fever. A luminous portrait of a marriage, a shattering evocation of a family ravaged by grief and loss, and a tender and unforgettable reimagining of a boy whose life has been all but forgotten and whose name was given to one of the most celebrated plays of all time. Hamnet is mesmerizing, seductive, impossible to put down. It's a magnificent leap forward from one of our most gifted novelists. It's called Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. The next book I'm going to share with you is called Crooked Hallelujah by Kelly Jo Ford. Crooked Hallelujah tells the stories of Justine, a mixed-blood Cherokee woman, and her daughter Rennie, as they move from eastern Oklahoma's Indian country in the hopes of starting a new, more stable life in Texas amid the oil bust of the 1980s. However, life in Texas isn't easy, and Rennie feels unmoored from her family in Indian country. Against the vivid backdrop of the Red River, we see her struggle to survive in a world of unreliable men and near biblical natural forces like wildfires and tornadoes, intent on stripping away their connections to one another and their very ideas of home. In lush and empathic prose, Kelly Jo Ford depicts what this family of proud, stubborn Cherokee women sacrifice for those they love amid larger forces of history, religion, class, and culture. This is a big-hearted and ambitious novel of the powerful bonds between mothers and daughters by an exquisite and rare new talent. That's called Crooked Hallelujah by Kelly Jo Ford. The next book is called Fiebre Tropical by Juliana Delgado Lopera. Uprooted from her comfortable life in Bogota, Colombia, into an ant-infested Miami townhouse, 15-year-old Francisca is miserable and friendless in her strange new city. Her alienation grows when her mother is swept up into an evangelical church, replete with Christian salsa, abstinent young dancers, and baptisms for the dead. But there, Francisca also meets the magnetic Carmen, opinionated and charismatic, head of the youth group and the pastor's daughter. As her mother's mental health deteriorates and her grandmother descends into alcoholism, Francisca falls more and more intensely in love with Carmen. To get closer to her, Francisca turns to Jesus to be saved, even as their relationship hurtles towards a shattering conclusion. That's called Fiebre Tropical by Juliana Delgado Lopera. The book is The Taste of Sugar by Maricel Vera. It is 1898, and groups of starving Puerto Ricans, Los Hambrientos, roam the parched countryside and dusty towns begging for food. Under the yoke of Spanish oppression, the Caribbean island is forced to prepare to wage war with the United States. Up in the mountainous coffee region of Utuado, Vicente Vega and Valentina Sanchez labor. They labor to keep their small farm from the creditors. When the Spanish-American War and the Great San Ciriaco hurricane of 1899 bring devastating upheaval, the young couple is lured, along with thousands of other Puerto Ricanos, to the sugar plantation of Hawaii, another U.S. territory, where they are confronted by the hollowness of America's promises of prosperity. Writing in the tradition of great Latin American storytelling, Maricel Vera's The Taste of Sugar is an unforgettable novel of love and endurance and a timeless portrait of the reasons we leave home. That's called The Taste of Sugar by Maricel Vera. The next book is called Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. After receiving a frantic letter from her newlywed cousin begging for someone to save her from a mysterious doom, Noemi Taboada, High Place, a distant house in the Mexican countryside. She's not sure what she'll find. Her cousin's husband, a handsome Englishman, is a stranger, and Noemi knows little about the region. Noemi is also an unlikely rescuer. She's a glamorous debutante, and her chic gowns and perfect red lipstick are more suited for cocktail parties than amateur sleuthing. But she's also tough and smart, with an indomitable will, and she's not afraid. Not of her cousin's new husband, who is both menacing and alluring. Not of his father, the ancient patriarch, who seems to be fascinated by Noemi. And not even of the house itself, for there are many secrets behind the walls of High Place. The family's once colossal, faded mining empire kept them from prying eyes, but as Noemi digs deeper, she unearths stories of violence and madness. And Noemi, mesmerized by the terrifying, productive world of High Place, may soon find it impossible to ever leave this enigmatic house behind. That's called Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. The next book I'm going to talk to you about is called The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This has also been on the New York Times bestseller list, along with Mexican Gothic. The Vignes twin sisters will always be identical, but after growing up together in a small southern black community and running away at age 16, it's not just the shape of their daily lives that's different as adults. It's everything. It's their families, their communities, their racial identities. Many years later, one sister lives with her black daughter in the same southern town she once tried to escape. The other secretly passes for white, and her white husband knows nothing of her past. Still, even separated by so many miles and just as many lies, the fates of the twins remain intertwined. What will happen to the next generation when their own daughters' storylines intersect? Weaving together multiple strands and generations of this family, from the Deep South to California, from the 1950s to the 1990s, Britt Bennett produces a story that is at once a riveting, emotional family story and a brilliant exploration of the American history of passing. Looking well beyond issues of race, The Vanishing Half considers the lasting influence of the past as it shapes a person's decisions, desires, and expectations, and explores some of the multiple reasons and realms in which people sometimes feel pulled to live as something other than their origins. That's called The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. And that's the end. So I hope you enjoyed hearing about some of our new acquisitions at the library. You can call the library at 203-468-3890 and request those titles. You can also try looking on digital.com and setting up an account there. And then you can take a look for some of these titles, which may be there. So that's another way. And you can try Overdrive, which is another platform that you can get ebooks and audiobooks on. So I hope you will. And also, please check out our website, which has our curbside hours and other information on it. So please check that out. It's www.hagaman, HAGAM like Mary, AN like Nancy, library.org. So www.hagamanlibrary.org. So I hope you will check out our website for our hours and updates on those hours and services that we're currently offering. And I hope this has been enjoyable for you, and that you will call us and let us know if you'd like to borrow one of these titles. So have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.